everyone, Decoy Candy here. Today I am going to make chili. So I'll just give you a list of all the ingredients I'm going to use first. For the most part, it doesn't really matter what kind of meat you choose. I happen to choose a beef shoulder because it was on sale. So I have oil in my pot. I'm using a big stock pot type. And I'm going to turn it on to about medium heat. Because I want it nice and hot when I'm going to cut up the meat and throw it in. I want it nice and hot and get instant sort of that browning, that caramelization off the meat. Hi. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to cut up are the onions. Holy piss, my eyes! Oh my god. Okay, let's see. I don't know if you can see this. Oh my god. It hurts. Alright, there is 1.5 onions chopped up. Holy piss, my fucking eyes. I'm gonna put that into the pot. After you've had that emotional outburst with the onion, you can move on to the other vegetables. I have to leave that on the stove for quite a while and get everything sort of starting to work together, starting to feel the love in the pot. There's gonna be, right now it's just a little love between some onion and some beef, but soon there'll be a plethora of things. It'll be a food orgy. So I'm just going to prep up the things that I know will go in next. So I like to put in my celery also fairly early because I like it well cooked. Okay, so next I'm going to put in the garlic. Now, I've been told before I use maybe a bit too much garlic in my food, but fuck you, it's my chili. So, this is pretty much a head of garlic. Okay, now I got the little nubs off. Now I'll try squishing them, which works a lot better. Or you can try breaking their necks. I don't know if that's a term anybody else uses, but I just sort of take it and sort of break its fucking neck. Just not enough to break apart the garlic clove, just to bust the skin off. Oh, my eyes and nose are still running from the onions. Fuck you, onion and garlic! If you get that reference, you are awesome. Okay. Just throw shit in. You got stuff in your fridge that's going bad? Throw it in. You got tomatoes that are all mushy and gushy? Crush it with your hand, throw it in. Just throw the vegetables in. Just do it. Because it'll all taste like chili at the end of the day, so maybe you just added a couple vegetables to your 5 to 10. Hi, okay, we're back. And I had a chance to get a little gussied up. Beauty of chili is there's a whole bunch of do shit and then wait a bunch of time. So I also changed my shirt because I was trying to be proactive and washed a bunch of dishes in between and got water everywhere. So as you can see, the beef is sort of turning nice brown color. The onions are translucent. They're going to be very, very sweet. And if I can get this at the same time, we should have it sticking a little bit to the bottom. I don't know, can you get that? You're going to need 2 hands for this, but you want that sticking. That sticking is the caramelization of the sugars in both the onions and in the beef. And it gives that really rich flavor. It adds a little bit of the sweetness and just that little bit of char that gives a little extra depth to chili. So I'm just going to stir that and release all of the tasty bits. Never ever use metal. At least not in my house. I will kick your ass. At this point I like to add the spices because the direct heat really kind of adds a punch of flavor to the spices, really brings them alive. So, and I never measure, so I'm sorry, I have no idea. So I'm adding a bunch of the chili powder. Add a bunch of that. Now, for the most part, chili powder doesn't add a tremendous amount of bite to chili, but it does add a bit of flavor and color. But the bite you're going to get from the fresh peppers. So a bunch of chili powder, garlic powder, always extra garlic, bunch of ground paprika, And I don't really know what paprika does, really. But mostly I think I do it because, you know, I'm fancy and shit. And the only other time I can really use paprika is on deviled eggs. A whole bunch of black pepper. I love black pepper, so I had quite a bit. Do what you want. It's your chili. Yum. And cumin. New Mexico chili pepper, which actually this stuff does have a bit of bite. And kosher salt. Doesn't have to be kosher salt. It could be any salt. I prefer kosher salt. It's great. It's sort of flaky a little bit. It's larger pieces, so you actually taste the salt more rather than table salt. Also, you can put it on the rim of a margarita glass. So, many purposes. So, I don't know, teaspoonish. So I'm actually going to turn this down a little bit, just so while I'm doing other stuff, it doesn't burn the fuck out of it. I'm going to add the celery and garlic that I chopped up before. Get that going in there. It's going to start smelling awesome. The smell of garlic and onion and celery cooking, oh, it's one of my favorite smells, hands down. And we're going to start with the peppers. Now I'm going to go sweet to spicy, mainly so that the stuff that's on my cutting board isn't going to fuck up my fingers and then I'll put it in my eye or like something. I personally want everything to be one consistent whoosh. One tip to people that maybe don't do a lot of cooking, always make sure your knives are sharp. If you have a dull knife, you're way more likely to be using weight and pressure to cut things, and therefore you're more likely to actually hurt yourself. A very sharp knife that you can just slide through like this, as long as you tuck your little fingies in, you probably won't hurt yourself badly. The Anaheim pepper. I don't think it's a Hungarian banana pepper or something. If you are a boy, you want to be extra careful of peeing after. So I guess if it's on your wee-wee, maybe get some yogurt. Could be helpful, I don't know. Okay, jalapeno, or as I like to call it, jalapeno. So here's my little serrano, which are fairly spicy. I mean, there's gonna be people out there like, well, I could just eat that one. Well, good for you, punk. This little tiny thing. Nature, you're crazy. You crazy. Okay, so it's 12:30 now, almost. We are done getting all the vegetables in, and things are still sort of caramelizing. Now that I know I'm not going to burn the house down, I can turn up the heat a bit, and I'm going to add the tomato paste. The tomato paste is a bit important because it does add additional sweetness. You need a bit of that sweet to kind of balance all the spice that you just put in. We're going to let that cook for a few minutes, try to get everything sort of mushed together, maybe a little bit more flavor at the bottom of the pot, really get it going. Alright, so here is my chili. So we're going to cook this for a bit, just melt down the tomato paste a bit, and come back to it in a few minutes. So we've let this sit for quite a bit with all the tomato paste sort of cooking away through, and it's starting to smell like chili. Everything's sort of mushed together, getting good. Now we're just going to add all of our liquid type things. So I'm going to use a can of beef broth. Now you can use any sort of liquid, water, beef broth, chicken broth, whatever kind of broth or stock you want, or a lot of people use beer. I would have used beer, forgot I didn't have beer in the fridge. I'm going to add a can of diced tomatoes, the whole thing, liquid and all. And I'm going to add a half can of chickpeas. Oh, one final stir before we try to leave it alone. Let it get freaky with all its freaky friends in the pot. Okay, so it's about that time that the chili is done. If you can see the clock, it says 4:14, so it's been simmering for a full 3 hours, not to mention the prep beforehand, so it was about 4.5 hours start to finish. And as you can see, it's that time of day also that I am drinking Here's what it looks like now. As you can see, it's kind of broken down. The pieces of beef are actually quite a bit smaller. If I can get a spoon in there. All the peppers have sort of mushed down. So I hope my video for chili making has inspired you not to take my recipe, but to actually go with your own ideas and to put inspiration into a pot and just let all the flavors make love together. Hope you have a wonderful evening. Cheers, chili on, my friends.